Bristol City have got their man, but it looks like a very similar kit that Ross Mccrorie will be in for the Robins as he is signed for the 2023-24 season. It's red and white for Bristol City, but will it be as shite as Aberdeen? Who knows?
Tell you what, looking at it, apart from the badge.
Apart from the badge,
see if you've seen him sitting there and the badge wasn't visible, you'd be like, oh, there's Aberdeen's new home kit.
Absolutely, but yeah, it's an undisclosed fee, but we're thinking 3 million. Around about that, eventually it will rise to 3 million.
About 2 million, just over 2 million, but with add-ons potentially going up to 3.
And then whatever Rangers are owed.
Yeah, whatever. Look, I think it's a good deal for Aberdeen. I mean, Ross Mccrorie's a decent player, but he's not a player you're going to get millions for. I know they've managed to get millions technically, but I think they pushed the boat here. I think what they've got is pretty close to the maximum they could have got. I don't think they could have got much more out of Bristol City, not for Ross Mccrorie.
Yeah, pretty much. He's agreed a 3-year contract with the Championship club with an option for a further 12 months, so essentially a 4-year contract. That would take him up to he's 29. He scored 5 goals last season as the Dons finished third. He says, there's ambition at the club. For myself, it's a new challenge and I think it's a good fit. Now, they did finish 14th last season, Bristol City. That's pish, isn't it? Going to a team that finished 14th.
I mean, it's not great, but I feel like with the Championship 14th, it doesn't really mean anything.
It doesn't.
The Championship's so tight that it's not like a team that finishes 14th can't push for promotion the following season.
Some Bristol City fans were saying, it was under Ange, something about TalkSport on Twitter, saying the Scottish League is 2 mid-table Championship clubs competing against League 1 and League 2 opposition. Thoughts on that?
Absolute fucking bullshit.
Bristol City are on par
with Celtic
and Rangers. The same Ross Mccrorie that fucking left Rangers because he couldn't get a game.
That's just bullshit. Absolute bullshit. But I expect nothing less. But what we've seen Scottish football and the Scottish leagues get buried for years now. I'm used to it. It's ignorance. It's a lack of respect. I would wonder if these people have even watched Scottish football that come out and say this crap. I mean, it's just not the case. Celtic and Rangers would not be mid-table in the Championship, and I mean, anyone who thinks that is severely wrong.
They are very wrong. Bristol City, though, is that a good move for them? Yeah, and is it any coincidence that he's been called up to the Scotland squad as soon as he's been linked with this? Or is that reading too in between the lines, damn it? Him and Leon King getting called up. You've got faith in Ross Mccrorie and Leon King against Norway and Georgia. Is this guy going to pocket Haaland and Odegaard?
Well, I don't think they'll start. I think they'll be lucky to make an appearance, to be honest. But, I mean, I guess it's nice for them to get called up and be part of the squad. But, I mean, I wouldn't like to see either of them in the team. I think it's a problem if any of them get into the squad, because then it means we've got quite a few injuries, or it would take something drastic, I think, for these guys to get in.
Yeah, I think
and I know Ross Mccrorie's been playing at fullback, whatever, for a bit now. It's like, I just feel like with so many good players in that position, I just don't really see.
He's not needed. But this video was needed, guys. We've kind of talked a lot about this deal going through, and it's eventually went through, so it almost gets to a point where you're just repeating the same pish. So we're going to end it here. 3 million, good deal. Rangers get a bit of money, Aberdeen get a bit of money, Bristol City get a good player. Can you see any other players in the Scottish League going to the Championship? Hit me with a few names. Kevin Nisbet. Kevin Nisbet's too good.
For the Championship?
For Millwall? I feel like for a team fighting promotion, man, goal scorer.
We'll see. I mean, I think there's more.
I'm not saying Nisbet would do a job for like a United or something, but I feel like a Luton in their first season in the Premier League, Kevin Nisbet would be a steal coming off the bench.
Could happen. I think there will be a lot of players. I feel like Aberdeen are in trouble next season. I think it will come crashing down for Aberdeen. First of all, they're losing a lot of players, right? They did okay this season. They got third spot, but let's be real, Hearts underperformed. Hibs were shite. Aberdeen did get that new manager bounce, but you look at the players they've got. Will they keep Miovski? Will they keep Duke? They've lost Mccrorie. A lot of the players that they had last season, some of them came in on loan. I think Barry Robson's new manager will wear off next season. I actually see Aberdeen struggling next season. You factor in the European football as well. I mean, that could cause them problems. Unless Aberdeen have a big transfer win, and they might, because let's be real, they are in Europe. Maybe the board will back Barry Robson, but I think the board need to make signings. I think the board need to be active, and I think they need to bring in. You're probably looking at like 7 or 8
good players
at minimum to replace the guys that they've got out. Also, Clarkson's loan's finished. I mean, there's just Mackenzie's loan's finished.
Yeah, Devlin for Livingston's not going to do enough.
No, I think Devlin's alright, but I think they certainly need more. So we'll see. I can't obviously judge the season just yet, but I mean, right now, I don't think Aberdeen will finish third next season.
Nope, they'll struggle with European football, but to be fair, the first half of their season was really bad last season technically, so maybe with European football it will be roughly the same. Or is Barry Robson going to...
I think that's incredibly harsh. I mean, Jim Goodwin had them third going into the World Cup. I wouldn't say they were doing terrible.
Yeah, but I'm on about games played. The World Cup wasn't the halfway point.
It wasn't that far before.
Oh, hold on. Aye, it was.
How is it?
19 games weren't played till about late January.
Aye, and they didn't come back for the World Cup
until the 19th of December.
Aye, so wasn't it kicking an arse off it?
Aye, but there was about 7 games played in between then.
I'm not sure there was 7. I think by the time they went on the World Cup, I think there was 14 games played. And Aberdeen were third.
Aye, and then when Jim Goodwin gets sacked, they were getting pumped 6-0 off
you just say, is it halfway they were doing shite?
They were halfway.
No, you said the first half of the season was shite.
Yeah, first half as in the season.
How? I don't see how that can be the case when the majority of the first half of the season was good.
Yeah, and then they got absolutely pumped for about a month straight. So you can't have 4 average months and then a shit month and call it good.
No, what you're saying is really the middle of their season was shit.
No, the first half was shit. The second half was good because they clawed their way back up to third and finished third.
So being third after 14 games, that's pish. That's what you're saying.
Hold on here. I'm looking at the first half of the season. 14 games ain't the first half. That's the first third.
Okay.
Alright. Until next time, know your role and shut your wife, jabroni.